to go a step further, cause my ability to flow kinda makes me wonder, am I musically demented? And like, what is the reason for my musical existence? I put pen to paper and apply my writing skills, based upon just my musical cadence skills. Therefore, making a nigga inevitable. Poetic language, far beyond the normal level. Vivid ideas allow me to do this verbally. Writer's block, I never heard of these. Speak my mind, deliver my thoughts, and I'll be able to continue to flow without a flaw. Cause spoken ideas leave the mind draw. So if I have any doubts about an idea, I throw it out. Profession to rhyme, but I'm a jack of all trades. Therefore, I can work the board and still perform on stage.
Hello everyone, welcome to Woke at Midnight. Today we're going to get into an interesting topic. We're talking about artificial intelligence. Everybody knows about it. It is the world sweeping phenomenon right now. Alright, now is it a good thing or is it a bad thing? On the upside, it helps extremely with productivity. You can ask the questions, it's like Google on steroids. On the downside, it can potentially take your job. So we're here with Joel Bryant, that's Pops. All right, we have Shelly Cleveland here, right? Also, all right. So, artificial intelligence, Pops. We're going to start with you. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? What's your analysis on that?
It's a great thing. It's a great thing. Small businesses need to embrace it. Like it's extremely helped me since I've been using it for the last year or so, year and a half. It helps a small business, I think, more than it will larger businesses, because when you have limited budget to run a company, and then the people that I used to have to pay to do things, AI does it for me. You know, and not only will it do a job for you, it's a consultant, right? Because the information that you get out of it, right, it'll help you to understand it. And it's like having a relationship, whereas you can talk to AI on a daily basis and it understands almost like your behavior and what you're asking, because it has everything in its memory bank, so it knows what you're kind of thinking, where you're kind of going with things. So I think it's a great thing, and people with small businesses need to embrace it. Don't be scared, right? It's not going to take your job. What it's going to do is actually open up more jobs, because right now in business, there's so many different technologies that's always coming. It's like day after day is something new that's coming, right? So if to be an efficient company, right, if you have AI, it's not going to hold you back, because you can go on to the next thing. And you're able to jump on these new technologies because you have AI as a small company. So I think the advantage will be for small companies. It's a good thing for big or small companies.
So you don't think it's taking people's jobs?
No, because the reason why I say that is that we're in a highly competitive global market, right? So you're going to get laid off for all type of reasons, right? So you always going to have to be able to study and almost like go to school. So if you get laid off because you know they didn't need you anymore or whatever, there's always other opportunities for you. Just have to keep learning. And none of us can run away from that. You understand what I'm saying?
So you feel like it's going to be like a cycle in which if you get laid off because of AI doing what was a basic job at the time, now you come back, reinvent yourself using AI to get another job, essentially.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, the point being is you're going to have to reinvent yourself no matter who you are all the time.
Yeah.
You know, you have to learn every day now. It's not like you go to school and they're like, okay, I'm a this. And you're doing that the rest of your life. No matter what job you're doing, you steady got to learn. You got to learn how the new software works and how you're applying it towards business. So you just have to keep learning, and that's all. And it'll be your advantage.
Technology is growing so fast nowadays. You can't just sit idle assuming
Right.
that your current skill set will always be relevant
Right.
and not learn.
Right.
And AI just is really just making that even faster, right? It's just add a fuel
Yeah.
to the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are your thoughts about that, Shelley?
I really think that it's giving us more opportunity, and it's giving smaller businesses or people who's ready to start a business more opportunity. Matter of fact, I find it very useful. Well, I had to stop, like back off from using it because I was on it every day. You know, it actually helped me scale my business within the last year. So I can't say nothing but positive things about it. You know.
Understood. Now, Pop, so you're saying it's more beneficial for small businesses than it is big businesses. Let's just think about this as a race, right? In which the small business is right here on this line, and the big business is way ahead because they've started. You know, they're bigger, they got more capital, they can do more. And you both are given this huge rocket pack on your back, which is AI, and you're both going fast, but they've already had a head start of you. How can you justify it being better for a small business than a big business when a big business can also use it?
It's like it's always been. You still have to do critical thinking, and that's how a small business always beats a big business. So if you can critically think, you can also use AI to help you. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's what you feeding it. You know, what do you think about this AI? I was thinking of doing this, and then they'll say, okay, that's fine, but why don't you consider this, and this? So it's still all about being a critical thinker, you know, to understand like how you're gonna get from point A to B to C to D. So people, if you want to use, just like the internet, right? The people who use the internet for good, you're gonna be really smart. But if you waste your time on the internet, then you're not going to, you know, you're not going to be on the level that other people are because you were so busy just, you know, using it for fun and stuff like that. So you got to be able to apply yourself, you know, because to me, this is the next step. I always used to tell people, I'm like, with the internet, it brings the playing field even, right?
Yep.
Because you can wake up one day and then all of a sudden you go viral. But back in the day, you couldn't afford to have commercials on the Super Bowl. That was the only way you was going to get in front of a lot of people. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now you can do something that's catchy, you go viral, and now you got $1 billion company.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And there are a lot of AI programs out there: ChatGPT, Claude, Grok, Gemini from Google, and a plethora of different other organizations that utilize AI have taken those models and made their own type of business opportunity from there. My question to both of you is, you know, we know that, hey, look, AI is now is even in the playing field, right? Like as you alluded to, Pop. Back in the day, you know, if you were ahead, you were ahead, and it's hard. Like, you don't know what you don't know. It's hard to get that consultant, the marketing, all of that different stuff. You know, without having to hire somebody at an expensive billable rate. But now it's an even playing field. What are some of the things that you guys are using that you wouldn't have been able to, I'm not going to say afford, but you definitely would have put it on the back burner back in the day that you're utilizing right now? We can start with you, Shelley.
I really just think, I'm going to go back to what Joe said about critical thinking. You know, a lot of times we get too busy. Well, there's certain things we may forget, or we can't hire nobody at the time to do certain things. So when I pull up my AI, whatever I want to know is really there. Whatever I think of, whatever I'm not thinking, it gives me more opportunity. It gives me critical thinking. It gives me just knowledge that I may have not even thought of, or just building my business when it comes to putting certain things on brochures, business cards, whatever is there, you know. So I mean, I don't see no downfall on it. I think it's a good thing when it comes to, I'm not saying nobody should leave their 9 to 5, but that is giving you a great opportunity to have extra streams of income.
Yep. So. What about you, Pop?
Right.
Quiet on the set. 3, 2, 1.
Are you ready? 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 So I think the biggest thing for me is just the documentation, just using it for business plans and different things like that, to where I can just, let me get a 5-year business plan. Give me some numbers of where I will be if I have this many stores, or if my business acquires this or acquires that. And just to be able to get that just like that, where you're going to be like, I need somebody to help me with it. Let me get an accountant. Let me get this. Let me get that. You already got everything right there. And now you can discuss it. Do you understand?
Assuming you don't pay the monthly subscription for unlimited access.
It wouldn't be as much as
right.
as you pay somebody,
Basically free.
Right.
Right. Now, AI, it can't replace a human. Humans are unique in their ability to adapt to multiple inputs at once and kind of make a human decision at that time, while AI, even though it's great, don't get me wrong, it can be still robotic, right? Like, how do you get around the authenticity problem in which AI can come off computerized compared to a human? I'll start with you, Pop.
I just think you keep doing what you're doing, right? You keep doing what you're doing. You try to get better every day at what you're doing, but you just use it to fill in to things that you need. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you don't need an assistant now. AI is your assistant. You feel where I'm coming from? So and this all depends on the structure of your business or the structure of what you're doing. You work it into what works best for you. But it still comes to, even with AI, if you're not feeding it the right information, it's not going to give you the answers that you're looking for. So sometimes you might ask a question and then you say, this ain't, keep asking. You might have to ask it in different ways. And then it'll start understanding your behavior and what you're trying to get out of it. So to me, it's just, it works both ways. You still want people working, and my whole thing is that's good, but it's also going to increase the things that you can do at your company. It's going to increase it. If you didn't have this division, maybe I can get this division now because I got help with the AI. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, one thing that I thought was kind of weird, I don't want to say weird, maybe weird. If we're looking back on it a couple years from now, is that there are a lot of layoffs, right? There are a lot of big business layoffs that say, 250,000 people being laid off because AI is doing the job better. But if we look at AI as a tool in which the tool needs to be wielded by a human, then why lay off all those people when they can just wield AI? What are your thoughts about that? These big companies laying off people, saying that AI is taking their jobs, but you could keep those people there to wield AI as a tool in terms of getting ahead of your competitors. What are your thoughts on that in terms of that entire dynamic?
Well, to me, you have to create value no matter where you at. If you're valuable, the job is not going to let you go. And if you know that you're valuable and they let you go, then it's their loss. Now you go on to your next journey in life. So we get too caught up with if somebody lay us off and all of that. It's like you're an individual, you're a brand within yourself, right? You move on. Don't ever get caught up with somebody laying you off. If somebody lay you off, then that means that's just not where God is sending you. You know what I'm saying? You go on to the next thing. It's always opportunity out here. You just have to be ready when it comes. You have to be prepared. You have to keep studying, keep understanding what's going on in society and what people need and what you want to do. So I think that has nothing to do, when they, especially a lot of those layoffs, man. The statistics that we get nowadays, it's all crazy. We don't know the numbers, anymore. So I don't even know if it's a lot of the companies. I know the government laid off a lot of people, so I don't know if companies, really laid off. Like you got to look at stats. Like, okay, if they laid off, how many people did they hire in another division or another company that they own?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
But I think I kind of agree to what you said, because I feel like this AI is teaching people to brand themselves. Like you
Right.
say, you're your own brand. So AI is kind of teaching us that we don't need these 9 to 5s.
Right.
Or we don't need to put our all into these 9 to 5s.
Right.
Go out and do your own thing. You have everything you need now to be successful.
Right.
So what's the excuse?
Yeah.
Hey, that's brilliant.
Yeah, yeah.
Because especially for Black America, what she just said is worth $1 billion. Because, and I guess we'll get on that on another topic, but right there is like she giving you game right there. It's like, you can work a 9 to 5, but you also can treat that as if that's just your client. And I tell people that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Always have your own thing going, no matter how big or how small it is, and then you just scale.
Scale
That's
to the
it.
next level.
Right.
Yeah.
Next level.
I mean, listen, with AI, there's no excuse anymore. At first it was like, I don't know. I can't pay a consultant for this. The knowledge is really not there. I'm behind. Other companies are ahead. But now with just a question away, you can get unlimited information from many different models, and you can check one model to the next. Like, hey, I don't know if ChatGPT was AI is not 100% right all the time. All right, like humans, they make mistakes, but you can check AI. You can check Chat versus Gemini. You can check Gemini versus Claude. You can check Claude versus Grok, and make sure that whatever information you're getting in order to provide to your clients or those that you're working for, to ensure that it's correct. So there's no excuse. If you don't have that information, go get it. Last question before we move on to the next topic. I want to know specifically, just drop some gems really fast. Not too many if you don't want. I understand you guys probably may be gatekeeping some things. What are some specific things that you're using AI for right now that are benefiting you so much that if other people adopted it, their life would probably start to change? We'll start with you, Pop.
Well, for me, basically, like I said, just a lot of administrative stuff, and the main thing to me, but I said this earlier, is just projections and different things like that. So you'll have an idea without, your brain just on overload and figuring out, okay, if I do this, how I'm gonna be at a profit and stuff like that. So I keep it simple like that.
Okay, yeah, calculations, all right.
I just want to say branding, and most importantly, building content. You can never build enough content.
Never, yeah. I think that what Shelly said is huge. Content right now, you can go on AI, say, hey, create a blue sky with a lizard with these red eyes, and it'll make it happen for you.
It's just going to make it happen.
And you need content to create engagement, and you need engagement to create, flow to potentially your business, to create that into a client. And the fact that AI can give you unlimited content at any given point, that's also huge. All right. Stay with us at Woke at Midnight. We'll be back.
Right.
Build that strength. It's in here. Build that strength. It's in here. Build that strength. If it's in here, then you can spray it out there. Build that strength. It's in here. Build that strength. It's in here. Build that strength. If it's in here, then you can spray it out there. Build that strength. It's in here. Build that strength. It's in here. Build that strength. If it's in here, then you can spray it out there. build that strength.
Welcome back to Woke at Midnight. We're going to get into another interesting topic. We're going to talk about black business, all right? There's been a different trajectory of black businesses nowadays, all right? There's been a huge increase of people starting their own business and saying, you know what, this 9 to 5, let me go and try to do something on my own, all right? And we have some comments to make about that. We'll start with you, Pops. What are some of the things that you've noticed about black business that is interesting to you that you feel like you should share with our audience?
The main thing that I've noticed over the last 20 years is the same thing that irritates me. We don't stick with it. When something goes wrong in our business, we don't look at it like this is a lifelong thing. You know, we just like, oh, I didn't make no money this month, time to go on. And by me dealing with so many different cultures, you know, I understand how people approach business. Being in business, you know, almost 40 years myself, you know, I kind of understand what it takes to be in business. So it's a lot of things that plays into that. And one of them is just the money. We don't look at growth when we look at business. We look at how much money did we make. Well, we're the only people who really do that. When you talk about the stock market, when you talk about white businesses, when you talk about big corporations, they're not trying to make a profit. They're just trying to grow. And we don't do that. So it's, or we don't do it like we should do it. You know, to have, and I don't have the statistics. I don't think we have but one Fortune 500 company.
That's black owned?
Yeah, that's black owned. That would be, I'll get that statistic. I'll look it up on the break. But we need to have more businesses, number one. And we need to be able to think growth. Think growth.
Now the black businesses have soared by 66% in the last 5 years, now contributing over $249 billion to the U.S. economy, and we've surpassed over 200,000 businesses as of 2026. But you still feel like it's not
we're
enough.
Only 3%. We're 14% of the population. We're only 3% of the businesses.
Okay.
So we're way lower than where we should be. You know, we've got comfortable working for these big corporations. And, you know, you got to do what you have to do. But I really feel that every family should have a homegrown business, you know. But like I say, it's about growth. You know, at the end of the day, let me break it down in simple terms, right? If you have a house today that's worth $500,000, and next year you have two houses worth $500,000, what do you have? $1 million, right? People don't look at it like that. They look at how much money do I have in the bank, right? So or how much money did I make today? They're not looking at convertible assets, you know, where, you know, you're trying to grow. And big companies always look at that. You know, when you look back on your year, right? And you say, okay, my company, we built a whole new division like we did, right? We built a whole new division last year. How much would that division have to cost? The big company might have paid $200 million to build a news division, a TV division, right? Of course, we didn't pay that, but we have a new division that we invested in. So that's a great thing. Us as blacks, and I'm coming from the black perspective, we look at things that's wrong, that we think is wrong, is really right. We look at things that's right, that's really wrong. You understand what I'm saying? The cash assets, the American dollar, cash is the worst thing that you can have to me as far as an asset, right? And I have numbers on this. We're gonna get into a topic later on. We'll talk about that. But if you have, let's just say like this: if you buy, let's just say shea butter, you know, anything that we might sell, right? And we take that, as soon as that cash hit our hand, it's $1,000. It becomes $5,000 if it's shea butter. It becomes $10,000 if it's that. If it's the American dollar, it becomes maybe $700 or $800.
inflation decreases in time.
It decreases. It decreases. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah, and depending on who's in office, and we know we got a big dummy in office right now, right? That, I mean, seriously, like everything that happens affects the dollar, and now the dollar is weakening. So to have your money in cash right now might be the worst mistake that you ever could have. You know.
Yeah, and we know that the dollar over time has always decreased in value. The more people that are in the world, the more people that need actual cash in order to do things like pay bills. Therefore, it's a natural occurrence that the dollar itself is going to lose its value.
Right.
Especially since it's now a fiat currency. Prior to Richard Nixon, it used to be in which it was backed by gold, and now it's just the American dollar is the standard. It basically is gold. It's just as good as gold. But the more people we have in the world, the more dollars we need. Therefore, it loses value. But when you use your example as shea butter, assets themselves maintain their value or increase over time, depending on what the asset is. And so you're saying that, hey, listen, take that cash, convert it to assets. Watch those assets appreciate instead of just holding cash. And also what you're mentioning is black people, we do have a shorter time horizon, instant gratification, right? In which we want to have things now instead of looking at the long term about things. Shelly, what are your thoughts about that?
Like you say, I think a lot of people are just for the now and not for the future. They don't think of if I stay down 5 to 10 years, where would I be? Or they don't think of, like you said, okay, if I take this money and keep flipping it into assets, into investing, because a lot of corporations, they're not just working or keeping funds and putting money up in the bank. They're flipping and investing. So they're having different trade of income, different streams of income versus this one particular income that you're trying to build your business, you're trying to live, you're trying to take care of your family. Of course it's not going to work, So I think we've come a long way due to the status of where we come from and how others are built and born into wealth. We're not. So I do believe we've came a long way, but we still have a ways to go.
Now, black business, it can be looked at in different type of ways. You have a business that has all these employees and, it has this huge operation going, all these processes. And then you may have a business that's just like what we call a solopreneur, in which, hey, I'm a business. I reported on my taxes as a business. I'm an LLC. I do my own work, but I don't have employees. Like, we can start with you, Pop. Like, what are some things that you're seeing with the solopreneur I don't want to say industry, but the way of life right now, if you will. What are some things that you're seeing that are interesting that you think people should be aware of in terms of growing a business as a black business?
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's a lot of black people doing great, just one-man operation, right? Because we're the most talented people in the world. That's number one. Number two is that when you are just an entrepreneur, and now that you have AI, right, you don't have the overhead. So what the key is always to be just creative and keep your overhead down. The number one thing for me is not to borrow money, right? So we teach. And we get this from white people, right? Because a lot of these white people are crooks and they thieves, right? They always talk about borrow money, but that's what keeps you in the system and that's what keeps you broke, right? So the way I look at it, right? If you have a business, right, and your business is already up and running and functional, if you get some money from somebody, that's borrowing money, which means that your business is in jeopardy. But if I have a business and I buy another business, right, and I get the money from you, that just means it's a partnership. And I don't think we understand that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a difference. That To me, that's not borrowing money. That's just like, okay, me and you going in on the business, you putting up the money, I'm putting up my expertise, you get this percentage, I get this percentage, and we through. But what we do is we always get in with the white man and say, okay, put up the money, and then for some reason we always lose our businesses and they end up with it. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we get in trouble with.
Let's go back to that example really fast, because you know they could go a couple ways. You have an owner borrows money with the intent of buying an asset and then paying back the loan and then becoming 100% owner of that asset. All right, that's one situation.
Right.
And then you have another situation in which you have a partnership in which we both put up money, and then we're 50-50 on this asset, but we didn't have to borrow anything, and we also didn't have to incur interest expense. You're saying that the latter is the better situation because you avoid that, even though you're also avoiding 100% ownership.
No, that's not what I said.
Okay.
That's two different situations. What I said was, if you have a company and you just take out a traditional loan with a bank, right? So we take out a loan and borrow $50,000 to buy a product or whatever it might be. That's a loan. I don't believe in loans. Because if you need more product, you should be able to go to your supplier, right? And say, look, I need 30 days on this. I need 60 days. You should never put your...
Yeah, vendor negotiation.
Right. You should never, ever put your company in jeopardy, right, for borrowing money against something you're already making, right?
Action.
So whenever you need relief from muscle pains, muscle spasms, and aches, grab Q-Merch Vapor Rub. It's part of their new healing butter line. This Vapor Rub will have you feeling like a new person walking out the door. Need I say more?
Now, if I have a company, store A, and I want to grow, and I say, I want to buy store B over there. So I go to you, you're a bank. I say, okay, this costs me $1 million, right? You put up the $1 million, you get your percentage off of it. It's my company once the $1 million is paid off. That's a new company. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we using the revenue from that company to get the loan, because you showing them that this company already doing $2-3 million a year, and it already has assets in it. You understand what I'm saying? So to me, that's a partnership.
Partnership
That's
with who? The company that you're buying it from, or the
No, if I get the money from you, you're a bank.
I'm a bank.
We're just partners in this.
If I'm a bank, I'm not investing in it. I'm loaning you the money.
But you're using that company for collateral. It's new money. How I look at it is new money that you never had. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're partners in that new venture. You're the money man, and I'm the person that does whatever I do on it. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. I don't look at that as a loan. I look at it as a partnership. We're partners in this new business. And once you get your interest off of that business, you're paid. Now it's my company. You understand what I'm saying? But if I borrow money and I borrowed it for something I was already making money on, it's risky, because now you lose everything you ever worked for. And that's where a lot of black companies go wrong at. We bring in companies because we want to grow, we want to scale, we want to do all of that stuff, and then we put our company, we always end up losing it. Some of our greatest companies of all time, Motown, all that, we end up selling it, we end up losing it because we give people a percentage. I would never give a percentage of a homegrown business that you grew from the ground up.
If I'm the bank, I'm not getting into that deal if I'm not getting something from it. And if I'm not getting ownership, then it has to be interest.
Companies do it all the time. What do you mean?
What do you mean? You say companies do it all the time. They get into business without getting something from it?
If I'm buying a company, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this company for $800,000, right?
Yeah.
It has I'm putting up there. We have inventory in there for $800,000, so that's my collateral. Has nothing to do with this business that's over here. Okay. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now,
it's just you as an individual. You're individual buying that company.
Or if I'm a company or whatever, we're buying a company that has nothing to do with the standing company that we already have.
As another company.
Right.
Okay.
So now I'm buying a company, and are the bank. I go to you and get the loan,
Yeah.
right? We're partners in it because you're making money. Whatever your interest is that you charge,
Okay.
you made money.
Interest expense, okay.
Right, and then I made money. You
Yep,
see what I'm
correct.
saying?
Yep, yep.
And then and then the company serves as the collateral for what you did. So that's why I say that's more of a partnership to me. It's not a risk. You
But
see what I'm saying?
the way that the bank looks at it is it's a partnership, but somebody has to take the risk, and banks usually don't like taking risks.
Yeah,
So
but
they put it
I'm
on
coming
somebody
from
else.
the black point of view of how you should do business.
And you're saying that
See, we got to rewrite everything that white people tell us.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? I do deals all the time, and they say we don't do it. Well, okay, that's the only way I'm going to do it, bro.
Gotcha. So if a bank doesn't agree to
Yeah.
take on some risk, you're saying say no to it.
Yeah,
Okay,
because it's really not risk. What is it risk to them? If you when them numbers come in, they only gonna do it if the numbers make sense, regardless. So if I got 800,000 in stock, that pays for the loan right there. Then if I'm doing $1 million out of that store, it's an extra $1 million that's coming in per year. They gonna get their money because it's already back, or they not gonna do
risk always exists. All right, now you can eliminate risk with insurance and things of that nature, but the bank is going to make sure that those risks are covered before it decides to take it on. You know, for instance, if it goes to say, okay, yeah, we'll write this loan for a 5% interest rate in order to buy this company, but there's a possibility that company could burn all its assets, or the owner could flee the country, or the owner could just stop working, or the warehouse can burn down. Plethora, unlimited amount of potential risk there. The bank wants to try to eliminate that or shift it over to someone else. You're saying that, listen, if the bank's not trying to take on some of this risk in...
No, that's not what I'm saying. The bank's already protected regardless, because you're going to have insurance. They don't even let you get into deals like that unless you have insurance on it, right? So if a fire come, they protect it. So it doesn't matter. What I'm saying from the perspective for a black company, right, we got to start understanding how to do deals and don't be desperate. Never put your company up in any type of situation that you work from the ground up. If you want to acquire something new, that's fine. Or either you build that from the ground up. So now I'm in a position where we big enough to where we might build some divisions, but we just did a mergers and acquisition division, right? So now we going out and we buying other companies. So that's separate from what we're doing. So we can bring in partners from that, because we're not giving up a percentage of our company that we already grew for 20 years. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about not from the bank's perspective, from a black person's perspective of how we always give away all our value and stuff.
So you said a lot of businesses fail because of desperation?
Yes, yes, that's what I'm saying.
And also, don't put your equity at risk in order to go to
yeah,
get
something that you didn't already
build.
put all your money into it.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
because it's slow, just because it's this, don't do that. And here's another thing, and I don't want to go too much off topic, but what I always try to do when you starting a new business as a black business, right? Always find a part of your, start a part of your business that's just going to take care of the bills, right? So you might say, I'm just going to I'm going to open a division to sell water, because that water going to make me $500 a week. And that $500 a week going to keep me going. And then you build onto that. Even though that might not be your main thing, you got to have a part of your business that make the money, that keep you from borrowing money, right?
Yeah.
So people go, everything that they taught us, I think you need to throw it out the window, right? Because America's in debt. So much debt, it don't make any sense. American corporations have no value in as far as I'm concerned. Because you might wake up tomorrow and the stock market hit, everybody and lost their money. So they have to keep lying and keep doing all this backhanded stuff. They going into these different countries because they don't have the money, because America is so much in debt that they don't have anything to back the dollar now. Because how they used to back the dollar was, okay, we're going to give you protection. Just like the mob. We give you protection. If you're a smaller company, we're going to give you protection. They can't do that anymore. So everything is crashing. So you might wake up tomorrow and all the major companies are worth nothing. So I hope this is a lesson for black business. Forget how big this person is, how big. Just stay out of debt. And if you stay out of debt, I think you'll be straight.
So in terms of the national debt, you're right. America basically built its entire civilization on debt.
Right.
Borrowing from the future
Right.
for the right now. Saying that, hey, listen, yeah, we got cash right now in the bank, but wouldn't it be nice if we had 10 times that cash? Let's go get it from somebody, pay them an interest rate, and then do what we want to do with that money right now,
Right.
and then pay it back later. And that's become a ideology, a philosophy, a mindset for not only the government, but also companies and individuals.
Right.
Credit card debt, just debt in general. Something that is hard to escape. Shelly, what are your thoughts about just companies, debt, that relationship in general?
I'm gonna stick with what Joe said as far as just learning how to use your own collateral and brand off of that. Because you can never, as long as you have product, you can never go broke. I don't care if I don't have $1 in my pocket. As long as I have product to go out there and sell, I can never go broke. So I would rather continue to have product than to go out and get credit from here and there. And now that's even more stress. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It builds more stress. It builds more headache. So I'd rather just keep it simple, keep product, and make my money that way. Keep flipping my money that way. Leave the credit out.
Yeah, and that's an interesting perspective because that requires patience. You're talking about having what you actually have in equity and cash, product, assets, and making that work for you as opposed to going and get something artificial from somebody else that you'll have to pay back with interest and bringing in tomorrow's benefits today. Right now, the U.S. is in 38
million. That's what I was about to say.
38
Trillion. 38 trillion. 116,000 for each a citizen in the United States. Per household, 289,000. So why you think they doing all this stuff? And then they trying to take that from the people who had the least.
Yeah, and our country being in debt can affect us as taxpayers because after all, our country's revenue is tax dollars from our work. All right, we're going to be back for our next segment, Woke at Midnight.
Current events from a different perspective.
Join us, Jason and Raina, on a Wake Up Right morning show.
Only on QDN Network.